What's up, everybody? It's me, Chris, here to drop off my UFC Fight Night 18 predictions coming up this Wednesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, leading into the new season Ultimate Fighter US versus UK. Not going to go over all the fights, just going to go over the main televised portion of the card and a couple undercard fights that are intriguing to me. So, let's start it off with Jeremy Stephens versus Gleison T. Bow. Jeremy Stephens is coming off the loss to Joe Lozon. Lost a decision. Kind of a close fight, but Lozon controlled more of it. Stephens was a late replacement, but I think he probably would have lost that fight based on styles either way. Gleison T. Bow's coming off a guillotine first round submission over Rich Clemente on that same card. I actually thought Clemente was going to win that fight, but turned out not to be the case. Just a different, Stephens is a better stand-up fighter here. T. Bow's a better wrestler and the better submission fighter. I'm a fan of Jeremy Stephens, but unfortunately I don't think he's going to win this fight. As we saw in the Lozon fight, doesn't have the best takedown defense. I went on his back. He just, doesn't fare as well there. So I do think Stephens can hurt T-Bow's standing, but I think T-Bow's size and possible strength advantage and wrestling advantage is going to be, help him get the takedowns, control the fight there, and either win a submission by controlling the fight from the top position or get it into a submission sometime throughout the fight. Next up, we got Ricardo Big Dog Almeida versus Matt Suave Horwich. Almeida's coming off the decision loss to Cote last year. Horwich is coming off a decision loss to Dan Miller in his UFC debut. I think this fight was made last year, but one of them got hurt, so they had to pull it, and it got rescheduled, I guess, for now. The Almeida Cote fight was okay. Almeida was doing good. I picked him to win that fight, but he gassed out in the second, midway through the second, and kind of just didn't really do anything in the last round. Kind of just played defensively, and Cote pulled out the decision. Horwich, interesting guy, very interesting character, as I've stated before in previous videos. Both these guys are better ground fighters than they are stand-up fighters. Neither of them are really that good standing, to be honest. But Almeida's the better ground fighter, so I think the fight, you got to pick him based on that. I see Almeida winning this fight by submission. I'm not really going to pick a round or anything, but that's how I think the fight's going to go. Or who I think is going to win, at least. Next up, we got Cole Miller versus everyone's favorite or least favorite Ultimate Fighter alumnus, Junie Browning. Cole Miller's coming off the triangle, last second triangle win over George Jurgel. Junie Browning's coming off the armbar win over Dave Kaplan in his last fight on the Ultimate Fight Night finale. Cole Miller was actually losing that fight, but Jurgel just got careless at the end of that fight and gave up that submission at the very end. I mean, last second. Literally. This is an interesting fight because I think UFC tries to match up guys stars or whatever guys they see potential in, or the fans want to see, favorably, especially guys from the Ultimate Fighter. But Cole Miller is a tough out if they want Junie Browning to get a win here. He's got 17 fights to Junie Browning's only 3. But I don't know. Cole didn't look that good in his win, like I said, against Jurgel. He also has a loss to Jeremy Stephens not too long ago, which is a fighter somewhat similar to Junie Browning in styles, although I think Jeremy Stephens is much better than Junie Browning at this stage. I think the UFC might want Junie to get a win here, but I just don't see it happening. He could win, don't get me wrong, but based on the experience and the better submission game, I'm going to go with Cole Miller. I think he's going to be able to catch Junie in submission sometime in the first or second round. Next up, we got Ryan Bader against Carmelo Marrero. Bader's coming off the win over Vinny Magalhaes on the Ultimate Fighter, where he won the Ultimate Fighter. Carmelo Marrero's coming off a win over Steve Steinbeis in the WEC. Basically, what you got here is two wrestlers, but I think Bader's a little bit better overall fighter. I think he's got the better striking. I'm not sure about submissions. But Carmelo Marrero's fought a couple times in the UFC before, where he lost to both Gonzaga and Wilson Gobey. This is a fight where, like I said, with the Junie Browning fight, they kind of like to showcase their Ultimate Fighter guys, get them wins, favor them, or match them up favorably. I don't think it's going to be the case here. I think Bader's just a better overall fighter from what little I've seen of both guys. So I think Bader's going to win their decision or TKO in this fight. Next up, we got Tyson Griffin versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Griffin's coming off the loss to Sean Shirk. Really good fight. Mostly stand-up fight. Really good fight. Close fight. Some people thought Griffin should have won. I gave it to Shirk. Dos Anjos is coming off the loss to TKO loss to Jeremy Stephens. He was actually doing pretty good in that fight, but got caught with a wicked uppercut by Jeremy Stephens and put his lights out. I got Griffin in this fight. You know, Griffin's fought guys similar to Dos Anjos in the past, Marcus Aurelio, Thiago Tavares, Gleason Tebow, and he's beat all those guys, and I think those guys are probably better than Dos Anjos. So Griffin should win this fight. He's got the good wrestling background, he's good at submissions, and got great submission defense. Really been working on stand-up, gotten really good with the leg kicks. So I think he's going to win this by decision. Tyson seems to always win by decision, especially in the UFC, so I think Griffin's going to win this fight by decision. On to the main event. We got Carlos Condit versus Carlos the Natural Born Killer Condit versus Martin the Hitman Kampmann. This should be a really good fight. They say styles make fights, and both these guys have similar styles, exciting styles at that. So matching them up seems like a great idea. Carlos is coming off the TKO win over Hiromitsu Miura. Actually, I thought that he'd win that fight a lot more easily, but he looked a little flat in that fight. Miura definitely had his moments, but Condit pulled it out in the fourth round, I believe. Martin Kampmann is coming off a TKO win over Alexandre Barros in his first fight at welterweight. He had previously fought at middleweight, but after the devastating loss to Nathan Marquardt, decided to drop down, and so far so good. Anyways, both these guys are really well-rounded, similar styles. Both are really good standing and have good submission games as well. This is a really tough fight to call. You know, this is pretty much a 50-50 fight. It's hard to really favor one guy over the other, to be honest. I'm a Condit fan, so that may be the one reason why I'm picking him. Although I don't really pick guys based on favoritism. But the thing I think that Condit has going for him in this fight... Oh, real quick, let me mention, Condit was WBC champ. But as everyone knows by now, I'm sure the WBC got rid of the welterweight division, so now he's in the UFC, which is a good thing because he'd pretty much run out of competition in that division in the WBC. Anyways, like I was saying, the reason I favor Condit in this fight is because he's a really aggressive fighter. Really aggressive standing and really aggressive with submission attempts when on the ground, whether on top or on his back. So all these guys, I mean not all these guys, but I was looking at Condit's record. All of his wins are by TKO or submission, so he's never won by decision, which goes to, you know, cement what I was saying about his aggressiveness. Martin Kampmann, all but 2 of his wins have gone by TKO or submission as well, so expect fireworks. But like I said, I think Condit's aggressiveness will win him this fight. Whether it's with a TKO or submission, I'm not for sure, but if it goes to a decision, I think his aggressiveness will win him the fight, just because being the more aggressive fighter, the judges kind of buy into that. So, like I said, it's a really tough fight to call. I don't see a real advantage one has over the other, to be honest. But I'm going to go with Condit just by being the more aggressive fighter. Should be a really good fight, though. Really looking forward to that one. Anyways, you know, like I said, this is leading into the new season Ultimate Fighter. Should be interesting watching that. You know, usually they have the fights, seeing who gets in the house, so that should be a good episode as well. Depending on how the fight goes, I might come back the day after and give my thoughts. We'll see. But until then, I'm out of here. Bye.